Good luck. God bless. Godspeed. And thank you for joining us and serving our country and your state so well.
Mr. President.
Senator from Wyoming.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I would like to add in a bipartisan way my thanks to Senator Chiesa for his service and add in the kind words that the senator from Delaware has spoken of our friend and our colleague. In Wyoming, we talk a lot about the code of the West, and 10 parts to that code. But number one is live each day with courage, and number two is take pride in your work. And I think we have seen that. Members on both sides of the aisle have seen that sort of code lived day by day by the senator from New Jersey who has joined us. So I just wanted to join my colleague from Delaware in thanking our friend from New Jersey, and I say this with great admiration, with great appreciation, and with deep respect for his time in the Senate, and I know we're going to continue to hear great things from him in the future. Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the floor.
Senator from Montana.
Mr. President, I ask consent to speak as long as I might consume.
Without objection.
Mr. President, Franklin Delano Roosevelt said, quote, "Our capacity is limited only by our ability to work together. What is needed is the will." End quote. I've just returned from a week at home in Montana, traveling from Fort Benton to Billings to Bozeman. I visited with constituents from all across our state. At each one of my meetings, the conversation would touch on the first snow of the season, or football, and the Bobcats, or the Grizzlies. Those are, in this case, football teams. But inevitably, every conversation turned to the challenges we face here in Washington and the standoff we just had over the country's borrowing limit and funding the government. People have lost faith in our ability to serve. They're worried about what the dysfunction means for the future of our country. For more than 2 weeks, Congress was stuck in a stalemate, unable to agree on a course for our nation. The political standoff shook America's confidence and threatened the global economy. Thankfully, compromise was able to overcome conflict. Cooler heads finally prevailed. But our nation didn't emerge from the fight unscathed. The 16-day government shutdown took a $24 billion bite out of the United States economy. That's according to Standard & Poor's. The rating agency now projects the U.S. economy will only grow at 2.4% in the fourth quarter, as opposed to the already slow 3% predicted prior to the shutdown. That is a staggering self-inflicted wound, and defaulting would have been even worse. Thankfully, that didn't happen. Leader Reid and Minority Leader McConnell were able to find the will and come together to provide a path that averted default. Their bipartisan legislation passed on October 16 and pulled us back from the brink. It created a conference committee to negotiate a budget compromise, and it gave the President the power to suspend the debt limit until early February. It also gave senators an opportunity to object and overturn the suspension using what's called a resolution of disapproval. That's what we're considering here today. I strongly urge my colleagues to reject this resolution. For the good of our economy, it cannot pass. Passing this resolution would plunge this nation back into the same economic crisis we were facing just a few weeks ago. And with economic confidence still suffering from the shutdown, another debt ceiling crisis could drive the nation and the world back into recession. We cannot let that happen. It's time to be responsible leaders. Congress needs to stop governing from one self-created crisis to another. Tomorrow, the Budget Conference Committee will begin discussions on a plan to resolve the fiscal challenges before us. The conference will be led by Chairman Murray and Chairman Ryan. They are smart, hardworking, and solutions-oriented, and I'm confident they can craft a compromise. I began my remarks with a quote from President Roosevelt, and I'll close with another. Roosevelt once said, and I'm quoting, "The great test for us in our time is whether all the groups of our people are willing to work together for continuing progress." End quote. Well, today we face our test. Can we work together for continuing progress? I strongly urge members of the Senate to reject the resolution before us. It is a step backward, a return to the shutdowns and showdowns, and enough is enough. Instead, we must find the will to work together for progress, for the good of our economy and the good of our country. Thank you. I yield the floor.
Under the previous order, the Senate stands in recess until 2:15 p.m.
So the Senate taking a break now, so members can attend their weekly party caucus meetings. When lawmakers return at 2:15 Eastern, we expect a procedural vote to move forward with a resolution disapproving the raising of the debt ceiling. We may also see a vote to move forward with the nomination of Richard Griffin to be the General Counsel of the National Labor Relations Board. While we are in this break, we will have